eaten anything all day today.
You
All day?
Yeah.
How?
I had.
How?
I
Corey-
made eggs.
Corey,
I
how?
had fruit. I already had a mid-morning snack. It's time for lunch for me.
welcome back to the Movement is Medicine podcast. Dr. Gene Shirakabrad here with Dr. Megan Weezer and Dr. Corey. I refuse to eat how.
You know, you just get busy.
Yeah.
And
Good luck when your kid comes.
Yeah. You're gonna die. You are gonna die.
it's the same.
No.
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 I just feed the kid.
Oh my
You-
God.
I take 2 bottles, one for me and one for the
Your Midwestern, I don't know what, is actually going to kill you.
I don't think we
Yeah.
can blame with Midwestern on that.
No,
that's something
so
else.
surprisingly, probably surprisingly, I brought a whole lunch today. I never bring a lunch.
So you literally have a lunch.
Yep.
But you
A whole lunch, like vegetables, a
That's
sandwich.
why you haven't eaten it because there's vegetables.
I have a sandwich. I have yogurt. I have a protein shake. I have a protein bar. A whole lunch here.
brought a feast,
Haven't touched it.
and yet if you brought 4 almonds, those would have been eaten by now.
It's because I'm lazy, for one. For two, I just I drink coffee, and it's
Yeah, that fills you up.
it
huh?
does.
No, it does not.
No, it does not.
I feel full when I drink coffee in the morning.
Okay.
You are a fool.
Yeah.
But
You
definitely
sound like one of those like stupid fitness influencers on Instagram.
yeah. You get all the calories you need in the coffee because like the stimulants.
Mm.
The stimulants.
No, I'm not saying my energy is sustained through my coffee. I don't get hungry.
Here's what you're saying is that you've not eaten for so long that your stomach is so small that all it needs is a little bit of water.
Megan is grabbing food right now.
Yeah, we gotta fatten you up a little bit. But we are getting real-time glucose monitors.
Mhm. Shout out to NutriSense.
Yeah, NutriSense. We had a great chat with them.
And shout out to Maria, who got us
yeah,
onto those.
Who's Maria?
she's one of our golf clients.
Oh.
Yeah.
I thought it was from Lauren.
No, Lauren does. Shout out Lauren. She actually works with their competitors, apparently.
Oh.
Don't shout them out.
We will not say who that is. But yeah, we're gonna get those real-time glucose monitors in today and tomorrow. We'll wear them and do a little experimenting with them. So we're pretty excited about that. What I wanted to talk about today, because I think it's kind of timely, we have end of one cycle, beginning of another cycle. I thought it'd be good to talk about programming again. I know we kind of touched on just kind of like general idea of programming, but I think it'd be good to double back on a little bit more details on.
I don't want them to hear me chewing.
Then don't chew loudly. It'd be good to double back on.
Ah!
So you turn your microphone upside down and you just scream louder?
Did you hear him?
No.
He was making
Megan was chewing really
noises.
loud.
Oh.
No, it wasn't. He was making chewing noises, and then it grossed me out.
Children,
Yes,
play nicely.
fine.
Unbelievable. I was at a little event in Arizona over the weekend, part of an organization I'm part of. But I get a lot of questions about recharge all the time because it's so different than everything else that's going on in the industry. And people always ask, the question that ultimately comes out is what makes it special, right? Why is this working when stuff like this usually hasn't worked in the past? Obviously, the team, you can't.
Yeah, we're pretty great.
We're in
2 out of 3 of us
some
are
of the
really
parts.
good.
Dumbasses, high five. Okay. The sum of the parts, right? It's the cohesiveness that makes it work, and then obviously the people that ultimately stick around. But what ultimately still the unique aspect, aside from the people, is the programming. I think the programming, the delivery of the program, the system, and the people buying into the system, and ultimately the results that happen from it is staying true to the system. Like you have to plug in and you have to believe in the system. And we've talked about this before, right? You can have a lot of superstars, but if the people don't buy in to the cohesive system,
I'm back.
she's back, then it doesn't work. So I think it'd be good on this episode to kind of talk about our thought process on programming, how serious we take it, right? Because it is our medicine. we take a lot of time and effort in programming. We yell at each other, mostly me and Megan, and while Corey cowers in
Always
the corner.
me and Jean.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's true. And but then good things come out of it, right? We're not just yelling at each other arbitrarily most of the time, sometimes. But usually it's to improve the programming because we take it very seriously, right? We
Or
believe
it's
in it.
because one of us is right and the other one's wrong.
Who was right earlier?
Me!
Literally 10 minutes ago?
That wasn't regarding the programming.
Okay.
Also,
Okay.
my question still stands. Am I allowed to brag when I'm right and you're wrong? Because that happens weekly.
That maybe inside your head. In reality, not so much. But I appreciate that you feel so empowered
Okay.
that you're making right choices.
See, right now, Corey is silently agreeing but not saying anything because he's...
I'm actually wondering what's on that bag because I think I
Yeah.
see a baseball
I
stadium.
don't know what Corey you were looking at, but he was definitely not paying attention to us. I've seen that look on his face many
Per
times.
usual.
Per his blood sugar being 0 right
Yeah,
now.
honestly. I should have given him a bite of my little
I
my
can't
little
wait
snack.
till those glucose monitors come in and we
Right.
can actually in real time pull up your blood sugar when you're like, I can't remember. And you're like, blood sugar 22.
Yeah.
It's going to be awesome. Let's talk about programming. The structure is, the saying is, measure what matters. And if you don't measure it, it doesn't matter. And I think a lot of people go into working out that way. And I think that's the difference between exercising and training. Right? A lot of people are like, oh, I walk around, I'm kind of active, I lift things at work. Great. There's no structure or progressive loading in that. Then people are like, well, I go to the gym. That's great, but what do you do at the gym? And they're like, I don't know. Some machines, lift some weights.
Fuck around.
Essentially. And we had a podcast, a whole podcast about wasting time at the gym. And then there's training, right? There is a clear beginning, middle, and end. There's a clear purpose, context, what you're trying to progress. And even in training, there's still good and bad training. There's a lot of kind of shotgun approach to training where people try to do a lot in a period of time. And when you try to do a lot of training, a lot of muscle groups or different energy systems, it's hard to see progress when you're trying to squeeze so much into the body. So like you do have to have kind of a purpose in what you're trying to accomplish. Now, we're close to more of we're specific yet general, right? We're specific in that we have a test week and we have 5 different days, and then we specifically progress that test week. But talk about test week a little bit. Like what is test week to us, and like why do we start programming with a week of workouts the way we do?
Well, kind of like how you mentioned, there's like a clear beginning and end. It's just a temporal landmark, I guess, to kind of set new intentions and goals physically. So the test week is kind of comprehensive, or as comprehensive as we can make it be with a group training environment. But we have separate tests that test different pieces of fitness. So like there's and different systems, energy systems, like in terms of what we're utilizing, and different types of fitness, meaning like we have a very short glycolytic day, like super short and sprinty, like if you walk out of here feeling like you could have done it again, you didn't work hard enough kind of thing, because it's super short, which I think is the hardest one for people to understand. They're like, we're only working out for 4 minutes, and it's like, yeah, but it's gonna be the worst 4 minutes of your day.
Yeah.
Unless you do it wrong, when some people still do.
Yeah.
Like, I think some people aren't comfortable pushing themselves.
That's what I mean.
To that
I think
point.
that's the short day is like the most misunderstood.
Yeah.
And the hardest to gauge. Like, I don't think people understand what 100% effort is.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I hate the short ones. But anyway, there's that. And then there's like a longer endurance based one. So like arguably the most boring one. But like there's utility in being able to do things for a longer period of time and paced out. That one's like usually around 20 to 30 minutes, which can end up being shorter than you really want it to be when considering what you actually want to test. But in a group class environment, like 30, 40 minutes of something is kind of like monotonous, but also there's still some use in that. And I think it's still warranted to sprinkle it in as long as you know the context and the purpose behind it. And then there's weightlifting maxes, which is everyone's favorite day and probably most surprising day, sans any technical frustrations.
I love
Like
when
depending on what the
people
lift is.
surprise themselves.
Same.
Like even in pathways, I know we're not talking about that, but kind of like when we don't.
Mm.
I don't know if you guys do this. You don't tell them how heavy it is.
Oh yeah, all the time.
Yeah.
You just say, here's the pink kettlebell, here's the yellow one, here's the blue one, and
Yep.
whatever. And then at the end, they're like, that was 35 pounds? Or
Yeah, especially with the deadlift. That's
Yeah,
my favorite because
yeah.
people are so scared of it because of their back and
I've
stuff.
done it in Senior Strong. They're like, how much does that kettlebell weigh? And I'm like, I'm not telling you. And they're like, okay, just trust Megan.
Yeah. I always ask them, like, how much do you think you lifted? And they almost always say half of what the
Mhm.
actual weight
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
It's pretty funny.
It backfires when they're like, that was probably like 50 pounds. Well,
I
was 18, but
yeah.
That's rare.
No.
That happens.
But opens up an important discussion point. Like, you need this.
yeah.
And then what else is in our test week? We have like a medium length day, so somewhere in the middle between like the longer endurance paced out and the shorter sprinty day. And then we just have like a body weight / gymnastics day, which is probably my least favorite. I don't know why. I know I said the short day was probably my least favorite, but what?
Some people really like it. We like it because we need to be able to move our body through space.
Right.
And in general, I don't know why I keep going back to pathways. Maybe because I've had 3 already this week.
Yeah.
But it's
Yeah, I had a lot last week. I had like 4 or 5.
push-ups and pull-ups are some of the hardest things that people start to do when they come here.
I'd say arguably pull-ups is the hardest
Yeah.
exercise movement to do.
Like we can
of all of
deadlift.
them.
Everyone can surprise themselves and deadlift more weight than they think.
Right.
But to do a pull-up or a push-up to the ground or anything like that, it's hard. So that's why we test strictly body weight things as well.
Yeah.
'Cause it's
They're
tough.
also, I think both of those push-ups and pull-ups, probably pull-ups more than push-ups. Like, you can't convince your body to do more or
Can't
like
fake it.
compensate
Yeah.
or fake through it, or like with a squat coming up out of the hole, even if you struggle, like you kind of get there depending on, to a certain
Yeah.
point, right?
Yeah.
Like we all get stuck at the bottom with a back squat. But anyway, like a push-up or pull-up, it's just like very in your face. You like either can do this or you can't, and
Mhm.
like you kind of see how far you get within it. And it's also the only way you're going to find out, like, if you can do it. Like, you have to attempt a full depth push-up or a, hop on the bar
Mhm.
and see how much of a pull-up you can get. Like, that's the only way you're going to know if you can do it. You just have to try it and see what happens. That's how I found out I could do my first strict pull-up.
You just
I was
tried it
like,
one day?
let's just see where we're at. And then I was like, oh, my God, I did it.
Look at me. Pull-ups, I feel like of all the exercises there are, pull-ups is like the number one bucket list exercise for people. They come in here and they look at the pull-up bar and they go, one day. And I'm like, yeah, I mean, it's training, right? Like it might take 2 to 3 years.
Mhm.
It takes a long time to not only be able to move your body weight, 1 times body weight through gravity, but using some of the smallest joints in your body, right?
That's
as
also the one
shoulders.
downside, I think, to group training. Like, even if you came to every day that we did pull-ups throughout the week and you don't have a strict pull-up yet, like, you're
Mhm.
probably not going to get your strict pull-up within what that person would consider a reasonable amount of time. Like, it takes way more intention and way more reps. That's like the one downside to group training. There needs to be accessory on top of it for goals like that.
Yeah, probably pull-ups and like Olympic lifting.
And like gymnastic skills
Yeah.
in general.
Yeah.
Like toes to bar, stuff like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
those are things that if you want to get better at them quicker, will take extra effort.
Right.
Yeah, you got to be purposeful with it. I love pull-ups because they're so hard, but I think they also offer a really cool learning opportunity, right? To teach people about the human body, and because people always beat themselves up. They are their hardest critics. They critique themselves harder than any one of us. I mean, we'll critique them mostly because they act like idiots a lot of the time, but not because of what they can't do, right? Because they'll go, wow, that was so hard, or wow, I failed, or I can't do this, I can't do that. But like once I love explaining to them about, the only attachment of your arm and shoulder to your skeletal system
Rotator cuff.
is this little joint here,
Mm.
right? The SC joint. Like this little tiny joint is the only thing that connects all of this to your skeleton. Everything else is connected by muscles. Everything in your shoulder girdle and arm is muscle activation, muscle strength, muscle efficiency.
What
So-
about the AC joint?
No, AC joint connects to the clavicle. Clavicle connects to the sternum. The only thing that
I
connects.
know. I'm saying that that's part of it.
Yeah, but I'm saying the only thing that connects all of this to
Oh.
the skeleton is the SC
I
joint.
misheard what you said.
Yep. Yeah, it's part of it from the shoulder complex for sure. But you have to have that ability, and I think to your point and your point about the sprint workouts is people are not vulnerable enough, and oftentimes don't have a place they can be vulnerable to work to that end range capacity, because your brain is screaming at you when you get to 70% capacity. Stop, you're tired, you'll cramp, you'll throw up, somebody will laugh at you, oh my god, you're gonna die, stop it, you stupid idiot, right? And then you still have like 2 to 3 rounds after that to go. And unless people have the training age and the vulnerability to do that, they won't. So I think giving them that space little by little until they actually push to that limit and go, oh, I did it. And then the benefit of group fitness is they can look over and see somebody similar to them that might be in their 40s, 50s, or 60s doing it and going, oh, I don't have to be in my teenage or 20s to do it. Like, it could be done at any age, at any capacity. And that's why I love our test week, is that we start people here, right? The first week is up here, and then we bring them all the way back when the actual programming starts.
I don't know what you mean by that.
Like, test week is high intensity, right? Because we're asking them, go all out to see what you can do. That's baseline markers. The whole point of test week is to create objective markers, right? What can you do right now? Work as hard as you can this week. And then we have that information, and then we start the programming when we drop the intensity, right? The start of programming is lower intensity to start building them back up so they can retest at the end of it. So it's like this high intensity, then they have this drop off, and then there's 12 weeks or 11 weeks of progressive loading. I think that's the essence of structured programming, is progressive load, little by little. And I think most even our members that have been here a long time don't fully grasp, because like we can look at their data 8 weeks into programming, and for a lot of them at 8 weeks they already are beyond what they did at test week, right? They don't even comprehend that, and they're like complaining like, this is, I don't know what I'm doing. And you're like, you've already surpassed everything you barely did 8 weeks ago. And then they don't process it until we retest them. That there's a lot of value in that, but you got to have the progressive overload. You look like you're deep in thought.
No.
Just think about food.
Yep.
I'm hungry.
To look at programming and our test retest from a different lens, we utilize it as coaches and as programmers to determine if our programming was successful as well. That success doesn't all hinge on the members getting better and doing the work. A lot of it does, but if as a community, very few of us got better at a certain test day, maybe we didn't program appropriately, maybe we didn't run enough, or maybe we neglected medicine ball slams, or whatever it is, that potentially didn't improve. So it's a good way for us to reflect on our own programming throughout the cycle and how can we improve. And I don't know if the community members think of it like that.
No, I think it's certainly multivariable, because if we have to look at it from a big picture standpoint, because some people get sick, some people go on vacation, right? Some people don't do all 12 weeks, but for the people that do, it is cool to see the progression, and we do test them and write them all on the board, so it's very easy to see how many people have progressed.
And when 3 months go by, a lot of them forget if they even did the class or not.
Exactly.
So then they're pleasantly surprised, like, "Whoa, I got way better. I don't even remember."
That's the coolest thing, is that, I mean, this is our life, right? We spend so much time on thinking about our members and the programming and the workouts. Our members don't have the same reciprocity, right? They don't think about recharge all the time and the workouts and the they do a lot.
I think
right?
some of them do.
No, they do a lot. It is very cool, right?
Mhm.
They base a lot of their life around here, which is, it's very
That's
humbling.
big though. This is like representative of their health though. You know what I mean? Like for a
Right.
lot of them, this is the only time they put in their day or in their week for themselves.
And they
So-
get a lot of those personal
there's something to be said about the community.
Yeah,
too.
that's what I'm trying to say. It's
The
not
social
it's not just
aspect of it.
health. It's a community. It's social interaction. It's a positive environment. It's stress relief. It's a lot of different things for everybody.
Yeah.
So it's cool. It's a place that we can, I don't know, make a big difference for
Right.
people.
And it's
Mhm.
kind of the saying, people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care, right? And then people, our members that are here and stick around long term, know that this is not something that we take lightly, right? We don't care about the workouts, we care about the people doing the workouts. The workouts are a means to an end. Our goal, our job, our focus is to keep them healthy, whether it's through working out, whether it's helping them through other life situations. Like, it doesn't matter. We truly are a bit of a triage center, right? The stuff that our members come with, from interpersonal stuff to musculoskeletal stuff. Like, we can be that person for them. And because we know them so well, I mean, that allows us to meet them and match the programming to their needs. Because a lot of times programming is, it's written for you, or you buy it and you follow it along. Very rarely can you get into the programming and say, hey, I slept pretty shitty last night, or work has been crushing me for the last 2 days, right? And have that programming still be on path, on the plan that the program is going, but be adjusted
Mhm.
in real time, essentially. And I think that's one of the biggest things we offer, right? The special aspect of it is, not only did we create a formula of programming that works for us, but we are able to match the programming to the person at any one time, at any time, regardless of what's going on, which I think is the biggest thing, because it's so easy for people to go, well, I'm not doing it. Like, there's so many reasons for them not to move and work out and train. So the more of those we take away, the more successful they become, big picture.
Sometimes I tell people that the way our classes run, it's like borderline individualized group classes. Like everyone's doing the same workout as a group, but somebody might be doing a back squat, the other one might be doing a goblet squat to a bench, the other one's using an air squat to a box. Like, we're all doing squats, but we find the best way to set each person up for success, and they'll all be doing their own different way to get there.
Version of the same.
Yeah, it's a
framework.
version of the same thing. We're trying to match the stimulus to their capacity and demand at that moment.
That's a hard thing to explain to people. Like, before somebody
Yeah.
signs up for Recharge, they're like, so I'll be like doing leg days and
Yeah.
upper body days, and I'm like, no. They're like, I'm not working my arms and legs. You are. And they're like, so what am I doing?
Yeah.
Like,
It's varied.
you're going to be coming and training. You're going to be getting healthier. You're going to be progressing. And then it's always like, here are the things I can't do, right? I've had a bad knee. I've had a bad shoulder. I've had a bad wrist. I'm like, you've had body parts. I get it. You've had boo-boos in your body parts. That's understandable. But just because you've had those doesn't mean you can't train. And because people haven't experienced that, like, people are always told things they can't do, right? Like, the medical model says, if your shoulder hurts, don't use your shoulder, or go see somebody, and they'll tell you can't use your shoulder, right? Until you do. Even
Or
in
they'll just hit you up with a cortisone shot and call it a day.
yeah, but even PT, we're not without our faults from a lot of within the industry.
yeah.
You go to PT for 6 months and you do the same shit, and there's not
Mhm.
a lot of progression, and you're like,
There's
Yeah.
still PTs out there saying, like, you shouldn't back squat because of the load it puts on your spine. Like, okay, do you squat at all?
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
are you kidding?
yeah, life puts a load on your spine. So
I'll tell people, like, it's no different than getting up from a chair with your purse on your shoulder. You know, that's a 20-pound squat for some people.
Yeah.
Honestly.
You know, purses can get heavy. So I see that a lot on, like, the intake forms. Well, they'll say, I can't squat. And then I have them stand up from a chair, and it's like, oh, well, you can.
just did
Good for
it.
you.
yeah,
You're better already.
just did it. Which comes back to kind of what we talked about with the weight, right? People, when you give them the environment and the context and empowerment to do something that they feel like is safe and under their control, then they do it. And then you go, you just lifted 40 pounds. And they're like, what? I thought that was like 12 pounds.
Mm.
Like, no, that's because you stopped thinking about what you can't do and you started thinking about how to do it. And that's the biggie. And then inevitably when aches and pains happen, right, then you're like, that's okay too, right? Like that's part of being human. Here's how you move past that. So programming is important. I think the other piece of it to finish out with is that it's not zero sum, one of our favorite terms.
Oh, one of your favorite terms.
Yeah,
Jesus
you're the only one
Christ.
that says it.
Well, that's right. I am one of the few that speaks intelligently.
Okay.
Um,
Calm down over there, Sparky.
well, a lot of times people, if they get sick or if they go on vacation and they jump off programming for a few weeks, then they go, I lost everything, right? But the body doesn't work that way. So the more you train, the more that baseline of capacity goes up. So even when you stop, yes, you will lose a good bit of it, but not everything. And the coolest thing is you come back a lot faster than before.
Mm-hmm.
So when you get fit and strong, that will come back when you have time off, which I think most people don't realize.
Mm-hmm.
They're like,
I think for a lot of people, the struggle is actually getting back, like doing the first thing. Like people know,
Yep.
like, okay, if I just do some push-ups, like I'm doing something, but it's the actual doing of the push-ups.
Yeah.
Yeah.
just got to start. Like eating. Just got to start one almond at a time.
I'll think about it.
Comment below if Corey should start eating. How much should he eat? Oh, let's have people say what you should eat. They should comment, and you have no choice but to eat it.
You don't really have a long list of foods you don't like, do
Yeah. You don't have a cauliflower. What is your cauliflower?
you? Yeah. What's your cauliflower?
My first thought was mustard. I don't like mustard.
I like the real mustard, but like the paint yellow mustard freaks me out.
What about Grey
French's?
Poupon?
Can't do it. That I like. Or like the grain mustard.
Mhm.
I like that.
I like Grey
Hmm.
Poupon.
I don't like mushrooms.
But
Really?
like
I love shrooms.
zero surprise here.
I only speak of the food, not the psychedelics.
If you guys
You
were
need
lost
more.
in the woods
Yeah.
and starving,
Yeah.
and you came across a mushroom,
Yep.
not knowing if it was poisonous or not, would you eat it?
No.
Am I able to make a fire?
If you have that ability to naturally make one somehow.
Then, yeah, I would like put it on a stick and cook it because I feel like that would cook off a lot of the poison.
I don't know if it does
I
that.
don't know about that.
That would be my rationale for eating
Okay,
it.
yeah, you would. That's what you
I
would
w-
try.
Yeah, that's what I would try.
Yeah, Carrie and
My
I were.
cauliflower is olives.
Oh, I don't- yep,
Specifically
I don't
the
like
black
olives either.
olives. Blah, 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 blah.
Olives are gross.
I
I'm
can
not a big fan of olives either. Yeah.
I can
I don't like
tolerate
tomatoes.
like the green or purple ones, like if they're mixed in something, but the black ones, get them off the planet. Honestly, no. Blech.
Yeah, I don't like olives.
Gross.
I don't like black licorice.
Nope,
I
don't like that
licorice
either.
Yeah. That's gross.
That's disgusting to me.
But it's not as horrific as cauliflower. Like, is there anything like truly where you're like,
No, you're just weird
You are
To-
just weird.
to have a visceral reaction
how weird
to a
am
food.
I when both of you send me stupid memes about cauliflower all the time about how horrendous it is?
Tell me the last time I did that. Don't send you memes ever about
Okay,
cauliflower.
he sends me memes. He sends me all kinds of memes. But like when you know that cauliflower meme that went around, literally like a handful of our members sent it to me
Mhm.
within 10 minutes.
It's like, it's like tastes like you hate yourself or something like that.
There's something like that. There's one about steak too. It's
I don't remember that.
it's horrendous. It is a horrendous vegetable.
Yeah,
It should
I
not
don't
exist.
know if I have a visceral reaction to anything though. Like Gene will like literally throw up in his mouth if
Yeah, I can't.
if it touches his face. Like
I can't. Yeah.
can't think of anything that I'll do that with. Anything edible.
Like I can touch it, like I can. It's not literally. It has to be taste. I don't think the smell bothers me, but literally the taste of it. Can't
Which
do it.
is funny because it was definitely in.
It was definitely
Yeah.
not.
I have the
100.
screenshots
Yep.
to
100.
prove it.
Chris and Lori
100%
Steinbaugh made
100%
Gene
not.
a
I
dinner
literally I'm
with
gonna
cauliflower
find
in
That
it, and
is-
Gene had 2 helpings,
It is a
I'm
vicious.
gonna find.
and then they
She
fi-
might have said it, but I 100% she did not put that in
I'm
there.
gonna find the.
It's in there. They wouldn't lie.
'cause it's
It would be because that's
absolutely-
considered assault.
No.
They
Assault!
they committed a felony. If that is the case, they tried to murder me, and that was assault. So they will go to prison.
Here we go. All right. This is from Chris. When is this screenshot from? I took the screenshot December 13th, 2022, but I probably went back to save it.
So
I
it's
don't
been
know
almost
when
a
this
year
actually
since the
happened.
screenshot.
That's when I took a screenshot. This was texted earlier
Mhm.
than that. But anyway, this is from Chris Steinball. He texted me and he said, so Laurie made empanadas for Jean with lamb and feta. She snuck some cauliflower in there so it looks like the other feta chunks. She also made a sauce on the side blended with roasted cauliflower and he loves it. And he doesn't, capitalized, doesn't know it's cauliflower. Laughing face.
And he won't admit that it happened.
I
Vicious
said,
lie.
He's in
yes,
disbelief.
oh my God, this is the best thing I've heard all
Vicious-
week. And he said
vicious
he
lie.
even ate it cold. He couldn't wait to get home and heat it up. I
Vicious
said,
lie.
this is amazing.
Listen. I did eat those empanadas, and the lamb was delicious.
Mm-hmm.
I
Because
did
there was
not-
cauliflower in them.
I did not eat the sauce.
I said, are
Um,
you going to tell him it had cauliflower? And he said it was probably going to wait until he finished them all and then let Laurie tell him. He won't kill her, but he might throw something at me.
Neither one of them said anything. There is no cauliflower in that because I
Yes,
would
there
have.
was.
I would have 100%
You were
said
just a little bitch.
the last time I was tricked into eating something with cauliflower was Jen and Danielle. Was like a year and a half ago. They
Jen
had,
Valentine?
Like,
Yeah,
they
I
had
remember those little
puffs.
puff things. Yeah.
And they're like, hey, try this puff. And as soon as it touched my tongue, you could ask them. I spit it out and said, there's cauliflower on this, isn't it?
Okay, well, Laurie is a chef.
Well, you're 1 for 2 in
Ugh.
random tests.
Mhm.
That lamb was really good.
Yeah.
Honestly, if I was gonna eat cauliflower, it would be with lamb. Those empanadas were delicious. But it wasn't because I would absolutely call
Okay.
police on them. You're going to
911,
prison.
what's your emergency?
They
We
made
have
me eat
evidence.
vegetables.
They tried to poison me. What kind of poison, sir? Cauliflower, damn it! The worst kind.
Sir, are you in danger?
They tried to murder me.
Is that a code word for
Arsenic? No!
cyanide?
Cauliflower! What do you not
you alone?
understand?
Are you in a situation where you can't speak freely?
Cauliflower?
That's exactly how the phone call would go. They'd be like,
Sir, say cauliflower one more time if they're right next to you. Cauliflower. We're sending the police. Here's their address. Steinball. All right. That's our programming. It's important. I feel like it's hard for people because
what's hard?
doing and finding quality programming, right? That doing programming in isolation, well, meaning by yourself, like going to the gym, even if you have programming, takes incredible amount of motivation and dedication, right? That even if you have programming, it still doesn't take away the issues that most people have, which is I'm busy, something comes up at work, kids get sick, right? It's so easy not to do it. It's so incredibly easy.
Yeah, I mean, you
not
can
to do
pay
it.
for programming and have it delivered to your phone or your email or whatever, but if you don't show up at the gym and actually do it, like,
Yeah. Accountability, just the programming is still not enough, right? Like you need to do it and you need to do it consistently and progressively because otherwise you're not getting the same returns. The nice thing of a place like this is that you can have a so-so cycle because of, again, traveling, sick, whatever. And then you have another one coming right back. Like, you have another one coming and there's always a cycle and always an opportunity for you to jump into programming and get better.
there's also like no decision making on the members' part. Like,
That's what I like
just
about it.
show up.
Yeah. We talked about this. Like, we like it ourselves. Like,
Mhm.
sometimes I don't feel like working out. And even if I did program the workout itself, there's so much ease knowing, hey, I can just show up and do it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It is really cool to have that. All right. Let us know what you think. If any of that is new, if you haven't considered programming in that light, if you have any questions, you can leave a comment below or shoot us an email, hey@rechargexfit.com. Otherwise, subscribe, follow along, like wherever you're seeing this. And we'll catch you again on the next episode of Movement is Medicine podcast from Recharge.